this before. Like, everything was all puppies and rainbows for a whole month. You kept this story that you had in there a secret the whole time. This is the first time I'm hearing about it, when you're like, you had this all bundled up and then you were just like, well, I'm just gonna tell them today. Help me understand how you think that's right.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black But 91. I done told you about Rachel, and I told you about Jose. I told you this was gonna happen. I told you from the very beginning that this was going to happen because he's insecure and she has not fully learned how to assert herself fully just yet. Okay, that's why she kept all the feelings she had up until that moment, and then suddenly she wanted to leave the relationship due to his emotional outburst, which was absolutely horrific, and absolutely wrong and absolutely mad. It was an oversight and absolute overreaction, which all the men also could see that Jose went right over the limit. But we're going to have a little bit of a rant and probably do some proper analysis a little bit later on this evening. Watch out for our live as well later on tonight. If you don't join our channel, if you're new to the channel, we do lives every Thursday night when Married at First Sight. And we talk through it with a different few set of people as well. All right, before we go any further, like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of what uploads. For those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated. All right, guys, before we get the conversation flow, let's get an intro going. Little Black But, you know what time it is. Yes. Rachel and Jose have a massive blow up, and Rachel threatens to basically leave the relationship. And actually, she said she doesn't love him anymore. But we'll come on to that a little bit later. Maybe another review. We'll talk about that in more depth. What I really want to do is just have a really quick conversation with you guys and just talk about the relationship between Jose and Rachel. We knew it was coming to a head eventually, because I said this from the very beginning. If you watch my reviews, I spoke about the fact that Jose's insecurity is going to cause an issue. The moment he highlighted that I have my houses, my cars, and everything like that all sorted, and he spoke about, you know, the cheating that will happen within his parents' relationship, and the way he spoke about almost like as if he was perfect, I knew that this was going to cause an issue, because there's nobody's perfect. And the moment someone shows an imperfection, he's going to nail them to the cross. Okay. And so what we saw in this episode, if you haven't watched it, you might want to go and watch it. It was a powerful episode. Was him locking Rachel out of the house because half an hour she was outside of the house because she was talking to her friend. He didn't bother to message her. And this is the thing. He didn't bother to message her because he already had the story in his head, which he didn't want to distract from the story. Because when people are insecure, they get a story in their head and they don't want anything to distract them from that actual story. They want it to be that because they want to self-sabotage. They want to have a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, so it had to be that when she left because she said another man's name and she was going towards the other man. Even though he kind of knows when he spoke to the boys, that's exactly what it wasn't. Right? He never said, "Oh, I think she's sleeping around." No, but what he couldn't understand was why he was reacting the way he was. That's problematic in itself, because he's lacking self-awareness. He's not able to see you are triggered. It's got nothing to do with Rachel. You were triggered. No, don't get it twisted. The girl said another guy's name, okay, but it was one person's name. And I said this from earlier as well. The way that he spoke about his parents' infidelity, or whoever was cheating in his family, that was again triggered when he spoke to her about cheating. They spoke twice about this, because the first time around he wasn't convinced about her answer about not learning, and again he mentioned it again recently, right, in this episode about the cheating situation. And so we know that he's triggered easily by this particular situation. He's triggered by cheating. He's scared that someone will cheat on him. This is why perfection also is a problem, because whatever happened in his childhood, youth, or whatever, maybe the separation or breakup parents, the perfection was to kind of make the parents love him. Okay, then we get obviously older, and this perfection is to make sure that no one can leave you. Then he told us a story also about the fact that he was with someone for 4 years and didn't tell him he loved him. I said, that's a red flag. I'm sorry, I don't care what no one says. That's a red flag. You were with someone for 4 years, you can tell him you love him, but because I had a kid, what? I said, no, you red flagging right now, bro. You are red flagging right now. Okay? And I've been calling it for the last few weeks on our super panel. I've been saying it, that where he's going is dangerous waters. All right. And the only problem I had with Rachel was, did she have the strength? I mentioned this in my very first review. Did she have the strength or the courage or the bravery to be able to speak out and say, hey, this doesn't work for me. Hey, this is not for me. Hey, I'm not about this anymore. And that's what we're seeing. Watch a little bit of the clip of this.
By not communicating there, like, I'm just not seeing it.
Now, he makes a good point. She wasn't communicating this to him. And I think this is what we were saying about for the last few weeks, right? That we could see controlling aspects of Jose's behavior, right down to the point where they go to choose plants in the garden, and he has to choose what it is. He has to almost convince her, persuade her to choose what it is. And she was going along with it rather than standing up and saying, hey, actually, no, I want my own choice. And she was just doing that because she wanted to keep the relationship going. She wanted to please him. But eventually it comes to a head. The person eventually gets sick and tired of having to kind of basically tiptoe around you and just do whatever you say, right? And so now we're at a head. It's now finally exploded. Okay, to the point where Rachel's like, I don't want to be in this relationship no more. I don't want to be in the marriage no more. I think that's premature. I think that's really fast to say, but I don't think that's where she actually is. But she definitely also has been triggered in his response when she said, this is what I said is basically a red flag for her, which is that nobody should be able to speak to her like this. And she's absolutely right. The way he spoke to her and the way he was behaving, being all nonchalant and not trying to give, I don't care. All right, cool. Then if you want to leave the marriage, that's up to you. I'm not going to convince you to stay if you don't say. Bro, like, you're in a marriage. It's not like the situation where I was talking about when I was with a girl. It's not that same situation, bro. She hasn't cheated. She hasn't done anything mad, bro. You just don't want to show affection or emotion in a situation because you feel like it's weakness. What you don't have is the answers as to why somebody left your parent. So now what you're doing is, because you don't have the answers, you're trying to fill in the blanks for your relationship. And you're trying to make sure this person doesn't do the same to you. No one's going to mug me off like they mugged my parent off. That's what you're saying. Right? Because that's what's really happening behind the scenes. All right? That's what's happening with the triggering. Okay? Right? He was so nonchalant about her trying to talk to him about the situation. It was actually kind of really sad. Like, I was looking at him and going, bro, like, she's trying to talk to you right now about a situation, and all you had to do to solve it was say, do you know what? I am so sorry. I was in my mad feelings. I got it absolutely wrong. But once you started going, the pride of Jose wouldn't let him go back. It said, keep going. Don't apologize, right? Real men don't apologize. Masculinity don't apologize. Keep going. You just keep going, Jose. You'll be right in the end, right? Yeah, you'll be right alone, okay? If you want to always be right, you'll be right alone. The fact is, you deadlock the doors. I want to go deeper into this. I want to give body language and everything like that, but that's going to be another review I'll do for you guys. But You deadlocked the doors, sir. Deadlocked the doors. It wasn't a mistake. You were angry. You were frustrated. You felt like she had left the house without talking to you, and you felt triggered in that moment. And I said this on one of my lives that I did last night, and I'll post it up for you guys so you can watch it as well. I was talking about how to develop the value of self. And I spoke about the fact that when people are trapped in their own reality, almost like somebody who is mentally ill, they see things through their lens. And unless there's another knowledge or understanding or wisdom that comes along that's strong enough to shake the vision of reality, that person stays in their current state of reality. And if their current state of reality says you're wrong, then you're wrong in their eyes. And Jose is in that position right now where his reality is the only truth. And so whatever she says, it doesn't matter. He's locked in with his own virtual reality. Sorry, his own reality, right? He's got the virtual glasses on, and this is the vision he sees, right? That's the only vision he sees, and it's problematic. It's problematic. It really is. He just had to apologize and let it go. And so from here on, and you know what? It's interesting. It's really interesting because I think with obviously Rachel, you know, she said to the girls, I don't love him no more. And I was like, sis, you don't love him no more? Just like that? Weren't you a minute ago talking about how you cared about him when you were talking with Dr. Viviana, and all of a sudden we're smashing things and you don't love him no more? I said, sis, that also can't run, because what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself probably in and out in this relationship, right? Going to be doing like, I don't care. when you do care, right? You're gonna be doing in and out, in and out. I don't care when you actually really, really care. So, long story short, I don't want to go too long. Like, so I want to keep it nice and short. We'll do a proper review with body language and everything a little bit later. But let us know what your thoughts are initially on Rachel and Jose. I personally have already said this insecurity is going to keep on growing. Until he gets counseling, it's going to keep on growing. Or until he does some self-introspection, it's going to keep on growing. And before it gets better, it's going to get worse. This was just a start. I can't say anything else. Make sure you like, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of what? Uploads, baby.